What's up, guys? Ben here, bringing you another video today. We finally have some new Rostermania news. It actually dropped late last night, right before my video got posted with my big Rostermania thing. So thanks for the timing on that. But we have some news about Seattle Surge and a player getting dropped. No word yet on who's getting added in. Let's talk about Arcitys leaving the starting roster for Seattle Surge. Well, so late last night, it hit the timeline. Alec tweeted FA, and a lot of people thought, maybe he's joking, maybe he's trolling, but it is a real tweet. And the Seattle Surge, about an hour later, tweeted goodbye. Thank you. Image to Arcitys. I'm a little surprised that they tweeted this without having a replacement announcement, but is anything surprised with the way that Seattle Surge runs their camp these days? Anyway, Alec didn't have the best of stage one for Seattle. Alec didn't play that good individually, even though they got like a decent placing at that first event. Alec individually needed to step up, and their players were kind of frying. And then the second stage, Alec started to play a little bit better towards the tail end, but they were just all around terrible during stage two. The thing is, I thought Brezzy would be the one that would get changed in this whole roster thing, because I think Brezzy came in and didn't really play that well. But I kind of see the thinking here on Seattle is maybe the following. Basically, you look at the standings here, and you know that you're not catching up really to the top four here as far as points or really placements, unless one or two of them get upset early in the tournament. So you're really fighting for top six. You're really fighting for champs. And right now, they're only 5 points off of 8th in the champ spot. And if you look at the teams that played good at the last event and got top 6, LAG and Carolina, the sort of thread that kept those teams sort of in that spot was really good S&D play to kind of grind out these series and take game 5. And that's something that Seattle, the game mode that Seattle has actually played particularly good in. Now you see here by the stats, like they're 15 and 8 in search, and we'll get to the respawn numbers in a second here, is how it swings. But if you see like stage 1, they were 11 and 4. And they were about a 500 team in stage 2. But you see, yes, Seattle can be great, and they're good right now at S&D. And they play, the other maps well, high rise, invasion, whatever. Even if terminal gets removed, say with some new maps getting added in. But the biggest issue they have to solve is they only won 3 respawn maps all stage. So I think what they're going to try and do here is drop Alec, move Abuza to more of a full-time AR role, maybe more of a main AR style role, and bring in someone who's more of a flex or a fast AR, so that Brezzy will run that second sub with Hoop. So let's talk about some potential options that I might be thinking about picking up to add to this roster. All right, so I'm gonna kind of talk about some challenges players that may end up on this roster. These are stats that I believe CDC Intel tweeted out, and so this obviously doesn't include all the teams. There's only matches that were streamed on stream. It doesn't have like elite stats. But one name that's not listed here that I think is getting linked to this team, just based on peer former teammate G's and all that, is Cobra. Obviously, has experience teaming with Abuza, teaming with Bressy. So we kind of go for the full French Benelux, whatever thingamabob if we go down that route. I don't know if Cobra has his visa or not, but to be honest, what I've heard about this roster is likely that Cobra is not joining, that maybe more of an NA Challengers player, but I kind of see why Cobra is getting linked to that. And so I basically think that who's going to join this team actually probably comes down to 2 teams that made it to the grand finals. 04 and DAC, I think, for me, are probably the front runners to come into this team. They really fried and played particularly well most of the weekend for Lore Gold, and they are great S&D players as we kind of scroll through and show you their S&D KD. And I think that's key here. I think, the respawn thing with Seattle is what it is, but they're going to want to pick up good search players. You can see that DAC and 04 were everything. But, DAC obviously was linked around a bunch of teams last year and didn't get in. And I would think that's a better move than 04, who is just kind of starting out to play variant. And my guess is when it comes to respawn, I haven't launched a lot of his gameplay. My guess is as far as hardpoint and control fundamentals, he's probably still got a lot to learn. So if you're picking up an 04 over DAC, and maybe even DAC's got the same issue as well, it's not going to solve the lack of discipline issue on Seattle. I don't think any player they're going to pick up is going to do it, but especially bring up those players, you're just fully embracing sort of the crazy reactive style that they have. But I think if you think about kind of how these things work, and usually the team that wins get players picked up, 04 and DAC, I think are, potential options for the Seattle team. And for what it's worth, I've also heard their names in discussions around Boston and Minnesota, but I just think no one's made any decisions yet. But they've got potential threads out. I think Exceed's also a player that's getting some look in. Same with Dylan Rex. Obviously, the FC Black team is going to change a lot with Joe Deceives getting called up to LA Thieves. So I'm not surprised that Dylan and Exceed are getting some looks in here. I thought a player actually who I'd like to maybe see on a team like this down the line is Weeman. I thought Weeman had a particularly good weekend, continuing his form as well online. I would love to see Weeman make one of these teams, but I think at the moment, again, I don't know his visa situation. I don't see Seattle picking up a European player and moving them out to Vancouver. But I think, again, for me, looking at the potential options out here for Seattle, obviously the Cobra Links are the Cobra Links, and I think go for Dak, Exceed, and Dylan Rex are probably for the other options. But we'll probably get more clarity as the end of the week goes on, because it seems like Boston, Minnesota, and Seattle are all thinking about changes. And I think there's a lot of common players they're looking at least from the conversations I'm hearing from the NA Challengers side, right? Because the way this works is that all of these players are getting their names linked to these teams. And then all the Challengers teams are thinking about now making changes in that Rostermania. So that's how a lot of this information is getting out. But I don't think that any of these players have signed a deal, committed. So stuff is still in the air, and I expect stuff to lock in more towards the end of this week. So yeah, that's the Rostermania update for right now. I'll keep it covered on here as we get more information, but let me know in the comments what you guys think of the video. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more. And as always, guys, we'll see you on the next one.